Today we have Dale Stouffer. He's the founder and president of I Found Agent. Um, Dale, well, let's see here. Let me go back. I Found Agent is a platform integrating IDX and websites and with contact management tools and services. It's got some really beautiful websites. I'm kind of looking through a few of them here, and I know a lot of agents that are also using it right now. So it's something that we wanted to share with the rest of the agents in West USA. I know we have proprietary access to some things and special setup. So Dale, can you explain and give a demonstration a little bit more about the I Found Agent product, how it works best for realtors, and some of its key features?
Started in real estate and mortgages back in 1996. So I've been around the game quite a while. And one of the things that I've heard over and over and over and over, and dare I say over again in my career in talking to real estate agents is they have a tough time staying in touch with past clients. Would you say you run into that, Eric? Or Nancy? I think Nancy, you're a coach, but Eric, you're the head of coaching, so you've got to be familiar with that conversation. Yes.
Yeah, contact management is always a challenge, and when we have brand new licensees that come into the industry, there's so many things that they need to kind of get their heads wrapped around, and contact management is critical for prospecting skills, and they just don't even know which one to start. And the other dilemma is you hear a lot of negative feedback towards, certainly not I Found Agent, but some of the other contact management systems can be very arduous and difficult to work with, overly detailed, I think. So it's definitely something that's got to be addressed and integrated into their business.
Yeah, I think it's a habit. It's a skill that's, I think, not trained, from the very beginning, because a lot of agents just never really get trained in staying in touch or how to stay in touch effectively with people they've done business with. So I think when you get started in real estate, a lot of people they're scrambling for business. If you're scrambling for your buyer, your first buyer or two, looking for listings, etc. And yeah, I think it is difficult to develop that habit of how do you stay in touch with folks, especially in the beginning of a career. You don't have past clients to deal with. You don't have past clients to stay in touch with. So, while you're developing the skills for working with buyers, this other piece of, hey, what do I do to stay in touch? They don't work well together. And that's a lot of what I've seen in conversations where I don't, from a CRM standpoint, unless you're out buying leads, generating leads, like using a lead gen service where they're dumping a ton of leads into your inbox, and you have to cultivate those folks. For the most part, as a technology company, we don't get too involved in working with real estate agents in, working with buyers, because, I got to say, most real estate agents are already good with working with buyers. So we don't, as a technology company, we don't need to be involved too much with, that part of the transaction. Now, where we do come into play is in that, how do you stay in touch with folks who you've done business with? And we expand that to homeowners in general. So how do you stay in touch with homeowners in general? Because Eric, you brought it up, building that database. So we have a phrase that we toss around in our company: always be building your database. Brand new agents, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think brand new agents don't think about building that database necessarily, because they somehow they correlate it to who they've done business with versus who do they know who owns a home.
Well, exactly. And any new agent's going to exhaust their sphere of influence pretty quickly as well. And so getting that database built as fast as they can, I mean, is going to propel their business certainly. It's interesting because I've actually met a guy who got into real estate and truly had no concept of what his prospecting was going to be. He expected people to just call him. It's like, well, how do you even come up with that idea? Well, I'm a realtor. Well, who would know that? you know it's just kind of absurd sometimes how they don't think through how and where their customers and clients are coming from, and it's all about the prospecting and the management of that prospecting for sure.
Yeah. So, if you think about a new agent coming into real estate, there's the CRM systems of the world. There's a couple, I know that, Wise Agent, Lion Desk, there's some other ones out there. And, we say, put your database in, put your contacts in the database, in the CRM. And then it's, well, what do you send them? So Eric, you're somebody I know, you're in my sphere of influence. Hey, I want to put you in my database, or I'm going to put you in my database. I'm going to put you onto a drip campaign, and you're a homeowner. And now I start sending you stuff from my CRM. And the question is how useful is that information to you as a homeowner from a lot of the drip campaigns that are out there? And I'm not knocking on CRMs. That's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is, what are you sending, and what's the most useful thing, or what's of high value and useful to the homeowners in your database? Because your homeowners, I've heard statistically, and maybe you guys know this, about right now we're kind of in that 7 to 10 year range where people are staying in their homes for 7 to 10 years. Is that a figure you guys are familiar with? Anyone?
Lisa was saying yes there, but
yes, I'm familiar with that.
Okay, so if you think about a homeowner database of 100 people, it's just 100. 100 is not that far out of reach. I don't think that's far out of reach for anybody if they're trying to do it. Okay, where you're having conversations with people. I mean, real estate is a belly-to-belly business. Realtors are great at the gift of gab, or they should be, right? They're good at it. You're out meeting people. So if you have 100 people in your database and you take that 7 to 10 year time frame of they're doing something real estate related, just doing the math there is 10 deals a year coming out of your database. So if you're marketing just 100 people in your database and you're sending them stuff and you're staying in touch with them, that's a key place to get to. Not 100 contacts, but 100 homeowners. If you think about Zillow, everyone's like, Zillow, and I hear it all the time. And that's part of what our strategy is. How do you keep people off of Zillow? How do you keep your contacts off of Zillow? Zillow, they're brilliant with their Z estimate tool, quite frankly, because who are they going after? They're not going after buyers. Now, buyers show up there, right? And they use those leads, but Zillow's after the homeowner. That's the whole Z estimate tool. So if we can take anything away from Zillow that's useful, it's how do you build your homeowner database? And I don't think CRM companies, and I don't think a lot of training is centered around how do you build that homeowner database, and then what do you send them? So Eric, I don't know that you guys, where you guys are in training that in the coaching program, but if you can carry that out of this conversation somehow, I don't care how you do it, build that homeowner database and get it to something, like let's say you want a deal a month. Okay, that's 120 homeowners you need for 10%. If you just do the math. Let's say you get it to 200 or 240 and you only get 5% of your database. Now you're still getting a deal a month. And for a lot of people, a deal a month is, 10, 15 grand a month to live on. That's not bad income. So how quickly do you get to 200, 250 people, homeowners, if you will, in your database? And in the Phoenix metro area, there's got to be well over 1 million single family residences. Now, and if you throw in condos and townhouses and all that stuff, there's well over 1 million. So if you think about 250 homeowners out of well over 1 million, there's plenty of business, plenty of leads out there, if you will, plenty of homeowners to have in your database. I haven't actually sat down and done the math, but that's a very, very, very low percentage of over 1 million potential people to have in a database. So if your job is just to go get homeowner contacts and put them in your database and start marketing to them, that's one strategy. Now, what do you send them? And I had alluded to a little bit earlier, do I send you home staging tips and financing tips and refinancing tips and, weatherizing your house, or, recipes of the month, things like that, a newsletter, all valid in keeping my name in front of you, Eric, as my past client or homeowner in my database. Sorry, Eric, I'm just picking on you. Not really picking on you, but I'm taking there's an implicit okay for me to do that since you're hosting the meeting, so you got to stick around, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
Okay, so what we've done at I Found Agent is we've taken the case that if you're a homeowner and you're in my database, what is the best thing that I can send you? We take the case that it's listings. And our system is designed to send you listings around your house. So we do that in the form of a monthly market update. And we do that in the form of new listings as they come on the market immediately. And just this week, we rolled out new just closed listings. So every day they're going to get an update, like around midnight or so, they'll get an update if you turn it on to get closed listings that have closed around their house. So they're going to see a new listing that comes on and they'll see that house sold when it's sold down the road. So they don't have to go to Zillow to find anything. We're sending it directly to them with our system, and it's designed just to be around their house. Now, agents can do this in the MLS. So, if somebody really, 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 really can't afford a technology piece, well, do it out of the MLS for a while until you get some business under your belt. And I know a lot of agents use the MLS for this. Where we say it helps you in marketing is doing it on your website, because agents want people using their website. They want their contacts using their website. So that's why we've built the system the way we built it, is that everything happens on the website. It's not an email filled with listings. It's an email with a link that takes you to the listings on my website, on the agent's website. Okay, so we're trying to have your people get familiar with your website, use your website. Now, that's what's happening. We're seeing tons of traffic where traffic didn't exist before for agents' websites. And they're using it over and over and over. Every month, they get that listing neighborhood update and they come back to the website. They get the new listing down the street from their house. They click on it and go look at it. because of their, like, if you guys, Lisa, you joined the call. Can I talk to you for a second? You're on
Sorry, I
mute.
had to unmute me.
Okay. So Lisa, where are you in the Valley? And I don't know you. So are you a coach? You an agent? Where?
Coach, Goodyear, West Valley.
Okay. So you're a coach. So you've closed some business. Yes.
Yes.
So if you take one of your past clients, like a homeowner, you think about them for a second, okay? And they come home tonight, and a new listing sign in the street or in a yard across the street from their house. What goes through their brain?
How much is it?
How much is it? And where are they going to go find that out?
Zillow.
Yeah. Where do you want them to go?
Website. I have the website. So I'm actually on there. My clients get them every month. And I do notice that they've been looking more and more and more.
And are you following up with them?
Yes.
And how's that going?
Good. Most of them are just hanging out, to be honest. They just trying to figure out where the market's going. But I deal with I do property management. So I deal a lot with investors. So they're more on looking to sell than the average person, owner occupied.
Yeah. So you're already using our system.
Yep.
Okay. So so to me that's awesome, because I don't recognize your name, but you're using our system, and I don't know, I haven't seen you on training. So catch me up on where you are in that. Did you train yourself? Did you come to training? Like how'd that go?
My husband trained.
There it is. What's your husband's name?
Buddy.
Buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
Even still, right? I guess that's a testimony, and I'm not like, that's not what I'm really bucking for, but that you guys figured it out. You came to training. Maybe he came to training. I've been doing the training for the company for pretty steadily now for a while. And anyway, the idea is that, I guess what I'm getting to is,
so I overheard, I got it at the end. Let me make sure it's the right company first.
Oh, that would be really bad.
Yeah. It's the one that we do with West USA, right?
Yes.
What did you? Yeah. Okay.
I found agent.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's good. Anyway, so that you guys are using it and you're seeing that activity is exactly what we're talking about. Like, I'm not making it up. It's happening, right?
They're logging in. I have it set up monthly. So every month I get the notification that they're getting the emails, and then I can see that they've logged in 2 or 3 times. And every time they log in, I can see that they logged in.
Okay. So the idea in the follow-up, and why that we say that that's important, and I'm glad you're doing that, it's not like you necessarily call everybody every month, but when you think about the training strategies where you're time blocking, for example, right? Agents are taught, some agents, there's systems out there about time blocking, and time blocking is all about, making those calls every day for, so that you're going through your database. Is that accurate? That's the idea of time blocking, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So time blocking, it's a valuable process. It's a valuable strategy. It works. That's why they teach it. So now, if you take what we're talking about in the time blocking strategy, to an extent though, creates some arbitrariness for the consumer on the other end. Like the agent's calling them out of the blue, and it's a little bit, interruptive to them. Okay. So, and it's not like I don't know that you're always calling everybody every month. You're calling a percentage, something like that. So you're always trying to touch base with them. on a periodic basis. So what we say with that strategy is if you couple that with what's coming in off your website. So you have these campaigns going, and once, every month, let's say you have 100 folks, but only 50 of them click through to see their neighborhood update. And they're not doing it they're not all coming in at the same day. They're coming in throughout the month. So now you got 3 or 4 people a day, 2 people a day coming to your website to see their market update, or they're coming to see the new listing that's on the street, down from their house a couple doors, right? When those people hit your website, now we know something. And it's not so arbitrary or out of the blue. Okay, now it kind of turns into serendipity. If you think about it, they hit your website, they're telling you to some degree, even if it's just curiosity, they're thinking about real estate. What a better time, there's not a better time, let me say it that way. There's not a better time to say, hey, Eric, it's Dale, been thinking about you, how's it going? And if he's in the mood for real estate, if he's in the market for real estate, if he knows somebody who's looking for real estate, if he knows his brother wants to live across the street from him, if there's a life change that just popped up, and I'm saying hello to Eric because he visited my website, there's a much better connection opportunity than the time block arbitrary phone call. Again, good strategy, but if you couple that with, now I have it's like I have this artificially informed schedule of phone calls to make. When my customers are hitting my website, that's when I reach out to them. If it's 2:00 this afternoon, boom, I'm calling them at 2:00, or I'm texting them just to say hello, but I'm not tied to a schedule. I'm doing it on the fly as I'm doing the rest of my real estate business. And I'm not held to sitting in front of my phone or my computer and making these calls, for an hour a day every Tuesday. What if I don't get them done? Now there's this stress involved, versus I know I got 100 people and I got 3 of them going out every day. So I got 2 or 3 calls that I know I need to make every day. What a difference what a shift in mentality for an agent to know I got, 3, 4 people a day getting campaigns. And if 1 or 2 of them hit my website, now I say hello. And now I know I'm timing it with their real estate, with them thinking about real estate to some degree. Anyway, just a strategy, just a thought. Doesn't necessarily have to be our website. They can use the MLS to do it. It's just, we're putting them on the website and training the consumer to use the website. So Lisa, expanding what you're doing with your investors, there's homeowners and all that,
Oh, yeah.
All that.
I can tell you that when I did this, I believe I started a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I went back 15 years and added everyone to my database, and actually, because I did not have a CRM, and looked to see how many people still live there, and about 90% of people still lived in the house. And so we added them all, and now I'm back in front of them and they're looking at it every month.
I couldn't tell you to do it any better than that. So that's what new agents could, and in my book, should be doing to build their database. Because unless they're 18 years old and don't really know that many people, but
Right.
if they're getting into real estate, they got to go out and meet people.
Right.
But anybody else, the rest of us, career changes, we all know people who own homes. They all can go. But thanks for telling me that, because that's inspiring to me to know that you took what we talked about and said, all right, how am I applying this to my business? And you went back 15 years. That's remarkable.
I didn't,
my-
my husband did.
Well, you just whipped him, had him do it.
Right, exactly.
Good job. Okay, so I think that's the idea. You get the concept, right? It's a powerful thing, and you showed up for the call and you're using the product, and this was not staged. Eric, you didn't stage this, did you?
Not at all. No, I didn't know Lisa was going to be here, but that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing. And continue, Dale. I love the premise that, your customers and clients are poking you when the button's hot, in their mind. And that just makes so much sense. It really does.
Yeah, I just don't, I don't know. I've been in the business 24 years around it. From my early days, my dad was a realtor, and there's not a lot of conversation out there about have your people tell you when they're ready to talk or when they're thinking about it. Like it's always, and again, I'm not knocking CRM companies, and I'm not knocking, the Buffinis of drop buys and pop buys, and I'm not knocking that style because it is effective and it produces. But sending listings to a homeowner around their house is about the highest quality content we think an agent can send their homeowner database. It just, that listing sign goes up, you got to send that information to them. If you're not, someone else is going to get it to them, and that might be in the form of Zillow. And it's, in many cases, it is in the form of Zillow, because we hear it all the time. Somebody else is getting it to them, and if you're not doing it, that's on you. So I can't stress that enough. I think it's a rock solid thing to send people